And welcome back to Pokemon Team Creation Series. Today's customer from Shadows82 asked the question, what is the Pokemon team of Natasha Romanoff, aka the Black Widow? Uh, so Natasha's kind of an interesting case. Not interesting in the sense of like, oh my god, it's gonna be so unique, although it definitely will look unique to a certain degree. More in the sense of who she is as a character and what that entails towards her team. Because when you factor in history, she doesn't have like a huge amount of abilities you can exploit. This isn't like I don't know, or Superman, for example, who while it would still, you'd have to still pick each and every individual Pokemon, you could theoretically make a Pokemon for every one of his abilities. No. She is an assassin. She's a spy. She's an Avenger, obviously. She has a troubled past. She has a lot going for her, but it did prove to be a little tricky as I went further down into the list of Mon. But let's get into it. So, given the fact that her moniker is the Black Widow, you would expect at least a spider Pokemon on the team. Ariados, I think, is the closest match to a Black Widow we have in Pokemon at this time. Again, the alleged leaks for Scarlet and Violet imply we're getting a spider Pokemon. But without that Pokemon being officially revealed, I can't do anything with that right now. That said, there is another spider Pokemon on this team, though, and there are a couple different spider Pokemon in general, but there is another spider Pokemon on this team, and that comes down to Galvantula. Now, why Galvantula? Well, you can see it right on her wrist right there. One of the things that Natasha is known for is, as it's called, the Widow's Bite, which comes from these electric gauntlets she has on her arm. And you have a character whose moniker is Black Widow, aka a Spider, and the ability to give electric shocks to an opponent. Well, those two kind of come together like peanut butter, jelly, and a little bit of chocolate in there too. And seeing as this is the only electric spider Pokemon there is, this was the logical choice. I say the only one because Electrike, is it electric? No. Hold on. Why am I forgetting the name? It's pre-evolution. Joltik, that's it, Joltik. Joltik is not based on a spider. Joltik's based, as the name would suggest, on a tick, on a mite. So I couldn't actually use Joltik, but Galvantula works. After that, though, now things got a little trickier to go about. Because I knew right at the gate I needed a fighting type Pokemon. So one I'm going to get it right out of the way was actually the last one I put on the team. I put Mienshao on the team. Now, why did I put Mienshao on the team? Well, it was the final slot. I figured I'd get something that shows off a bit more of her acrobatic martial arts abilities. And by that extension, a Pokemon that can learn the move, acrobatics. And wouldn't you know it, that would be Mienshao. Plus, it's a feminine-looking Pokemon, even though I think it's like a 50-50 ratio for male and female. And its fighting style, again, would be a lot more graceful. There isn't really much of a grappler type in the way that Natasha fights with the whole using your momentum and your opponent's momentum, wrapping your legs around them and throwing them. There isn't really any Pokemon fighting type that does that. But beyond that, the remaining three I was able to pinpoint prior to that. Right out the gate, we have Inteleon. Inteleon I put on the team because I knew I needed something for espionage, what a spy would theoretically have. And seeing as Inteleon is based in part on like a James Bond spy, it has a snipe shot ability. Well, a snipe shot attack. It shoots water out of its fingers like a bullet from a gun. And given the fact that Natasha is also a very skilled marksman, that would make sense to have that on the team. Then I also wanted a Pokemon that could be the femme fatale of her team, because that is part of her persona. She's a femme fatale. She seduces. She takes advantage of it, and she sneaks in and gets what she needs, and it gets out. Now, a femme fatale Pokemon is a little harder to do, but I knew it needed to be a Pokemon that could learn the move Attract, because that makes sense. You know, Natasha is very attractive. She seduces men and women, apparently. She does not play favorites. And, you know, she either kills them, she'll sleep with them to get the whatever. She'll do what she needs to do. So I'm like, okay, is there any Pokemon who, in their lore, has anything to do with seducing humans at all? And actually, yes, there is. Frostlass. Frostlass lures people. I believe it's men particularly, because Frostlass looks like a geisha, a girl, a female human, and lures them into the cult to die. And while that's not a one-to-one comparison, it definitely is, I think, the closest we could have to Natasha. Add on the fact that she is Russian, and this is an ice-type Pokemon. Russia is very cold. This makes, I think, sense to me. The last Mon I put on the team. Now, I had to think, because this is when I was still thinking of a fighting-type Pokemon. The first fighting-type Pokemon. Like I said, Mienshao was the last fighting-type Pokemon I put on the team. But I was thinking on that, and I was looking through the list of fighting types, like, no. And then I stopped on one, and I looked at it, and I thought, wait a minute. Does this work? And I looked at it, and I realized, yeah, it actually kind of does. So, everyone, for the first time on the Pokemon Team Creation Series, Hisuian Lilligant. Now, why Hisuian Lilligant? Well, first off, it's a grass fighting type. So we got the fighting down there. But its design and its style is based off of Ballerina. And in the movies, at the very minimum, we know that was part of her, the ballerina training, graceful type. Ballerinas, Russian ballet is very big in Russia. And we know this was attributed to her upbringing in some way, whether or not she was taught ballet, whether or not it was just part of it. I think this still works very well towards the identity of Natasha Romanoff. So again, we have both Ariados and Galvantula for the spider motif of her name, of moniker Black Widow. Add on Galvantula for her Widow's Bite. We have Mienshao and we have Hisuian Lilligant for her fighting style and the ballet background that she has on some level. We have Inteleon to represent her spy capabilities, the espionage, and the fact that she is a very good marksman. And then we have Frostlass as kind of the wild card seducer of the group. So how balanced is this team? Well, we got 2 bugs on the team, and one bug we got 1 poison, 1 electric, 2 bugs, 2 fighting types, 1 grass, 1 water, and 1 ice and 1 ghost. This team, I can tell you right now, would still get pretty hammered against fire types mostly. Yeah, you got Inteleon there, but that's 1 guy against 4 who are weak against fire. So fire is still a big issue against this team. I'm also going to say flying is a big weakness of this team. Bug, Galvantula and Ariados. First of all, Bug is not, I don't think, is Bug inherently weak against flying? I want to say it is. Let's see here. One second. I'm getting my the Pokedex up just so I can check types and stuff like that. I think Bug is weak against flying. Yes, it is. So you do have that going on there, and add on Hisuian Lilligant is ×4 weak to flying. And so yeah, fire and flying. So a Charizard would run through this team, honestly, or a Moltres or a Talonflame, assuming that the Inteleon couldn't take them down. This team also has a little bit of trouble. What else is bug weak against? Hold on, because I got 2 bug types here. I'm just looking at fire, flying. Honestly, that is about all their weaknesses they have. Oh no, and rock. Honestly, well, no, yeah, rock is strong against ice, isn't it? So let me see here. 1 second, I'm just double checking ice real quick. Yeah, ice is weak against rock. Oh god. So that would mean that at least 3 of this team is weak to rock as well. Whew. Yeah, this is not a very balanced team. The 3 of these mon have ×2 weaknesses, and 4 of them have and a couple of them have ×4. So, still, it's not, I think, the most completely off-balance team I have here. Because while I do have 2 repeating types on 2 different mon, it is between 2 different mon in both cases. And almost all the mon on this team are dual types. At least 60% of them are dual types. So, I don't know. Or 2/3 anyway. I don't know. What do you think of this team? Do you think this team does work for Natasha, or would you do something else for a team? I think if I were to change anything on the team, the things I would keep, I keep Galvantula, I keep Inteleon, and I think I might keep Hisuian Lilligant. Other than that, though, I think the other 3 are interchangeable. Although, like I said, I think Ariados is the closest we have to a Black Widow type spider at the moment. Until then, though, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe. As always, you want us to review something, put in the comments below. Let us know. We'll do a review of it at some point, and I'll see you folks later.